this be one of the best moments of your life. You're listening to the Business Mirror podcast for a broader look on business with Senior Editor Dennis Estopace.
Good day. Welcome to Business Mondays with BM, a segment of the Business Mirror BM Broader Look podcast that tackles the performance of the Philippine stock market. The Business Mondays with BM podcast is based on the stock market outlook story written by Business Mirror reporter VG Kabuag and comes out every Monday. Today we podcast week 19 of the stock market outlook for May 10 to May 14, 2021. For the text version online, please go to the Business Mirror website and search for Stock Market Outlook. For the print edition, please go to the company section of the Business Mirror newspaper. Let's get on with the story. Share prices continued its fall last week, with the main index returning to the 6,200 point level as investor sentiment was subdued all week long despite some positive results from the first quarter earnings of many listed firms as economic uncertainties linger. The benchmark Philippine Stock Exchange Index fell 112.16 points to close at 6,258.71 points. The main index was down all week long with many investors staying on the sidelines, and value of trade slumped to just an average of 4.3 billion pesos for 5 trading days. Foreign investors, which made up 39% of the trades on the average, were still net sellers at 2.55 billion pesos. Among the sub-indices, only the Services Index managed to post gains of a mere 1.29 points to close at 1,444.40, while all the rest gave up points. The broader All Shares Index fell 45.60 to close at 3,877.43. The Financials Index lost 3.88 to 1,390.35. The Industrial Index was down 50.70 to close at 8,628.65. The Holding Firms Index plunged 214.78 to close at 6,226.53. The Property Index declined 33.68 to close at 3,044.26. And the Mining and Oil Index retreated 55.93 to 9,588.36. For the week, losers edged gainers 157 to 75 and 17 shares were unchanged. The top gainers were Philippine Savings Bank, DFNN Incorporated, Bogo Medellin Milling Company Incorporated, Manila Mining Corporation B, Keppel Philippines Holdings Incorporated A, and GMA Network Incorporated. The top losers, on the other hand, were Vulcan Industrial and Mining Corporation, Basic Energy Corporation, Discovery World Corporation, Assesite Philippines Hotel Corporation, Centro Escolar University, and ACE Enexor Incorporated. Share prices may continue their decline this week as investors continue to adjust their economic recovery expectations from a fast and robust to a gradual and challenging one in light of the recent developments in the government's handling of the COVID-19 and quarantine measures. It will be an eventful week as the government will announce the first quarter gross domestic product results on Tuesday. Likewise, the Policymaking Monetary Board of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas will meet on Thursday to decide on the key interest rates. And President Duterte will also announce the quarantine status of Metro Manila and nearby provinces, which are still under the stricter modified community quarantine until May 14. Investors are expected to watch out for the first quarter 2021 GDP figures to determine where the economy is coming from as it moves into the second quarter, which is seen to be relatively tougher so far due to the stringent social restriction measures in the National Capital Region Plus. Jafet Luis Tanchanco, Senior Research Analyst at PhilStocks Financials Incorporated, said, Private economists are forecasting a further contraction of the local economy in the first 3 months of the year, albeit at a slower rate compared to the slump seen in the previous quarter. Security Bank Corporation Chief Economist Robert Dan Rosa said the Philippines' gross domestic product likely contracted by 5.1% in the first quarter of the year. An ING Bank economist forecasted a softer contraction for the period at 3.5%. The fourth quarter gross domestic product contraction in 2020 hit 8.3%, resulting in a full-year contraction of 9.6%. Rosa said his forecast is based on the observed improvements in the Purchasing Managers' Index in the first 3 months of the year. It is balanced, meanwhile, by the unemployment rate, which averaged above 8% or still as elevated as of the fourth quarter of 2020. Rosa said coming into 2021, the deep scattering from the previous year may have continued to soften household consumption with inflation going up and mobility remaining below the pre-pandemic levels even before they imposed enhanced community quarantine, while both imports and exports slowly contracted in the first months. The country's PMI, which is a measure of the country's manufacturing sector, averaged at an index of 52.2 in the first 3 months of the year. A country's PMI is meant to gauge the health of its manufacturing sector. It is calculated as a weighted average of 5 individual subcomponents. Readings below 50 show deterioration in the industry, while readings above the 50 threshold signal a growth in the manufacturing sector. In April, however, the country's Purchasing Managers' Index fell below threshold to an index of 49.0 due to the renewed lockdowns to curb the rise in COVID-19 cases. Base effects in the manufacturing sector may have buoyed the economy at the start of 2021. What weighed on the economy is the still timid household consumption during the period, an ING Bank economist said. Domestic consumption remains one of the key sectors of the economy, and it is expected that the sector is challenged at the start of the year, the ING Bank economist said. Recently released labor market data showed unemployment improved slightly by March, but was for the most part still elevated compared to year-ago levels. Chart-wise, the immediate resistance of the Philippine Stock Exchange Index is still seen at its 10-day exponential moving average, which closed at 6,350.77 last week. According to Jafet Luis Chanchanco, immediate support, on the other hand, is seen at 6,100. Meanwhile, Broker 2 Trade Asia said gross domestic product consensus sits between a contraction of 5% to a growth of 2% for the first quarter. The broker said it expects it will contract by 4.4%, but a more meaningful rebound may be felt in the second quarter, mainly due to the base effect, as last year's economy was on a virtual standstill due to the lockdown measures. But any indication that output, especially on the consumption side, has turned for the better will be reflected in valuations, 2 Trade Asia said. The broker advised to expect volatility in the trading due to the continued reporting of first quarter results of listed firms. For the stock picks, broker Regina Capital and Development Corporation advised to trade the range on the stock of Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company, or Metrobank, as its share price appears not yet done with its sideways consolidation. Regina Capital said the trading average of 42 pesos and 83 centavos to 46 pesos and 25 centavos remains intact. Indicators are mixed but lean more closely to being bearish, Regina Capital said. Also, the broker advised to take note that the selling pressure is spiking, which could drag the price of Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company down in the coming days. The shares of Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company closed last week at 43 pesos and 55 centavos apiece. Meanwhile, Regina Capital recommended to sell during rallies on the stock of BDO Unibank Incorporated after its share price failed to breach its resistance at 104 pesos and 91 centavos for 2 consecutive tries. The broker said the majority of the indicators are bullish, but momentum is still quite low to support a sustainable rally, meaning there's still a possibility to see BDO pierce through its resistance level intraday. Regina Capital said if the latter happens, investors with attractive positions can take advantage of it to take in profits. Meanwhile, support can be found at 103 pesos and 10 centavos, Regina Capital said. The shares of BDO Unibank Incorporated closed last Friday at 104 pesos apiece. And now for the weekly weather outlook via the website of the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA. PAGASA issued the weather outlook for the week at 12 noon of May 7, valid until 12 noon of Friday, May 14, 2021. PAGASA said that by today until Friday, May 14, easterlies will continue to bring warm and fair weather conditions except for some isolated rain showers or thunderstorms in the afternoon or evening over Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to the Business Mirror podcast. For a broader look on business, follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Business Mirror. Until next time.